Hey guys, it's Alyssa. I wanted to make a quick video talking about when pregnancy doesn't go as planned, because mine has not. And there's a lot of videos out there about when labor and delivery does not go as planned, when your birth process and birth stories and when those things don't go how you had in mind. And then there's a lot of videos and a lot of conversations out there about infertility and when that doesn't go as planned, getting pregnant and staying pregnant and all those things when that isn't going as planned. But there's like a whole 9 to 10 months in between those two things that I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about. And I know that I can't be alone in feeling this. Because these past 9 months have not gone as planned, and it's been really hard for me. I'll just stop right here and say, I get it. This video might not be for everybody, and maybe this is triggering, so go ahead and skip this one. And I don't want to be ungrateful. I don't want to come off the wrong way at all. I know that being pregnant is not something to take for granted, and it's not lighthearted, and having the worst pregnancy in the world is better than not being able to get pregnant. And a lot of women really struggle with that, and I want to clarify all that right now. I get that. And so right now, got it. And if that is something that's triggering and a struggle for you, maybe just skip this one. Because I still feel like my emotions and the things that I've gone through in the past month are still valid. And the way that I feel doesn't at all mean that I don't want to be pregnant or that I don't know it's a gift from God and an honor to be pregnant. But I think that I can help normalize this conversation as well. So in one of my last videos, the announcement videos, I shared that around 3 months, my body tried to miscarry the baby and I was put into pelvic rest and all these different things for a long time. So that right there prevented me from doing a lot. A lot of things I had planned around the house, the Airbnb, specifically exercising is super important to me. And it was also just very emotionally difficult. I really pulled back from everything. I didn't want to I didn't want to deal with things because I was dealing with so much with myself. And so I pulled back from a lot of stuff. That was a long journey. There was a lot of things I didn't want to do, a lot of projects I didn't take on just because it was too much for me. And then by like 6 months, being 6 months pregnant, all of those problems had subsided. But when we went in for some of our scans, the baby had a very irregular heartbeat. So then we had to wait a little bit longer to have more scans done and more things. So then during that period, not only was I on a pelvic rest or a bed rest, then I was put on a heart rate rest so that I couldn't allow my heart rate to raise at all to keep baby's heart rate down. So that was a whole nother problem. All of that subsided. I was like, I don't know, really close to my 3rd trimester. Basically, the entire 2nd trimester was just crazy. It was all over the place, and it left me feeling all over the place, emotionally, physically. I had no control over a lot of things, and I like to have control over things. And there's a lot of things that I wanted to do, all these cutesy things, ideas, and videos, and whatever. And just in the middle of it, I was like, no, I don't want to do those things. Now looking back, I'm disappointed that I didn't do those things or whatever. It was just very difficult for me. And I have a wonderful support system. I have a wonderful husband. I have wonderful friends. And I just want to share that sometimes it doesn't go as planned. And number one, that's okay. And number two, it's okay to feel a certain way about all of it. And I think that in modern times, people are afraid to express those feelings and people are afraid to speak on those feelings because we know how difficult it is for some of our friends and sisters to even be pregnant. And I'm not saying I don't want to be pregnant. I'm just saying this experience, I thought it was going to go one way. I had all these plans, all these dreams, all these ideas, and none of it has gone that way. And that's really hard to cope with and deal with sometimes. And so I just wanted to make this video to say that sometimes it doesn't go as planned, and that's okay. And I want to share that because I know that I can't feel alone in this. There has to be other women that the 9 months in between getting and staying pregnant and delivering your baby, that in between time can still be really difficult. But I'm not even talking about like symptoms, you know, like heartburn and diabetes and like things like that. But I also just mean like emotionally, it's a lot to deal with when you thought you were going to be able to run every day and be this like cute pregnant runner, and you haven't been able to run once since you've been pregnant. And I know that that sounds really stupid to a lot of people, but to me, running is like my space. It's my time. It's something I did with Rio. It was something that kept me in routine, and it's been really hard to not be able to run at all, and to know that for the foreseeable future, I'm not going to be able to run for at least a little bit longer. So just all of these things have been difficult to process. And I wanted to open up a space to say that that's okay. And maybe you don't relate to this at all, but someone has to. But beyond just normalizing the conversation, I also wanted to take a second to share how I've been processing these things. First of all, I took a step back from my emotional responsibilities with other, and I like kind of drew some lines in the sand for myself, and I did the best that I could at everything because I was emotionally processing all the things that were already happening to me. I knew that I couldn't carry the weight of all the normal things that I'm normally carrying. And then beyond that, I accepted that my emotions were all over the place. And I had really just hormonally, man, this has been a rough ride. Hormonally, I accepted that that was happening to me, and I was trying to communicate that to mostly my husband, the person I live with, but also my friends, and like sharing how I was feeling, journaling, talking about it, like embracing those emotions and then working through them, and then working through what was true and what was maybe just a hormonal lie. And speaking that truth to myself about pregnancy, about myself, about relationships, about responsibilities, all of those things that shouldn't have been that difficult for me, but were. Just reminding myself what is true. And for me, obviously, that comes from my faith. For you, maybe that's just a grounded place from where you come from. Speaking of that, obviously, my faith gave me so much hope and so much peace through this whole process. And then beyond that, not being so hard on yourself, because obviously I want to run. I want to have control over these situations. I wanted to do this a certain way, and that's not happening at all. And I was recently talking to a friend who is a first-time mom, pregnant, and we were talking about the control thing, and I was laughing because that's just motherhood. Like, learning as early as possible that you actually have no control over how any of it goes, over your labor and delivery, over 4 a.m. feedings, over any of it. You have no control. So learning that and learning to roll with the punches as early as possible is going to make you a better mom. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's any easier in the process or when you're in the middle of that moment. So I'm basically just rambling, but I just wanted to say pregnancies don't always go how they're planned. For the past few months, I've just taken things a day at a time. I've controlled what I've been able to control. I've coped and processed the things that I haven't been able to control, and I've dealt with what I've had to deal with. My faith, my husband, my community, and all of those things have helped me get through this process. And no, it's not the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to anyone, but when you're super hormonal and you're super pregnant and you're processing through these events as they're coming up, and it's just one thing after another, and you're losing all these little ideas that you had, all these little things you wanted to do, and then those don't happen and they don't become a reality. But again, I've just accepted the whole process, and maybe the answer is just to have more and more children and be pregnant forever. But either way, thank you for listening to my heart and my random chat about normalizing this thing that to me, I feel like no one else talks about, but I can't be alone in this 9-month gap here. Either way, thanks for listening. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow along for more videos and updates about baby. Maybe I'll have another video about how my labor and delivery did not go as planned, because that's been most of this pregnancy. But maybe I'll have some beautiful birth story about our baby. Whatever, either way, you just gotta deal with whatever comes. But thanks for following along. Bye!